Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for this MLDA sharing sessions. So basically, I'm going to start with my introduction of myself. My name is Xin Pei, year 4 EEE student, and also a member of academic team. So let me give you a brief introduction of MLDA at EEE first. So MLDA EEE is a student-centered lab which aims at providing platform to empower EEE and IEM students to learn more about machine learning skills and knowledge in both academic and industrial settings. We do so through our various events, projects, and activities. So basically our mission, as a student community of MLDA, our mission is to execute and plan those events and workshops. And how do we do that? So basically, we do it with the help of state-of-the-art facilities, resources such as GPU and equipments and technical support from all our faculties. Your learning journey in MLDA, your learning journey and machine learning, which is supposed to be the next revolution. Okay, one moment, please. Basically, machine learning is supposed to be the next industrial revolution. So learning machine learning at this stage is going to help you in the future. And our portfolio. So basically, there's 4 pillars to MLDA: the academic training team, the career and external team, and the publicity, and the operation and logistic team. So basically, for the academic training team, we organize machine learning workshops. Basically, all kind of workshops from computer visions to reinforcement learning and CNN and all that. And we also have many projects such as drone project. So we're doing right now. We also have some reinforcement learning on the Atari games and as well as self-driving cars. We also take part in the hackathon and datathons such as Shopee Data Code League, MIT hackathons, and Singapore India hackathon, as well as organizing our own datathon with the support from EEE. So as for the members from career and external team, they deal with getting sponsors from the external companies such as Media, Shopee, and A-Stars. And with these industrial partners, we can provide more opportunity for students to interact with each other and improve their career. And for the publicity team, basically they will be handling the social media and as well as the YouTube page and all the publicity matters. Basically, their goal is supposed to maintain the social media and like getting more people to know our events and all that. So basically, for like this event is basically the poster is designed by the publicity teams. Next, we'll move on to the operation and logistics. So basically, they will set up events and help organizing events and as well as maintaining the resources such as the GPU and the hardware resources in MLDA. So why join us? Because AI is going to be the future for the world, right? So most people are saying that AI is the 4th industrial revolution. So joining now will definitely help you in the future. And if you join MLDA, you have we will link you with the industrial partners, which will further your career. As well as for people who want to learn more about machine learning, this is the great opportunities. So follow us at these links, or you can just actually I type those all these pages on the chat. So if you guys want to take a look and join us, feel free to do so. So with that said, we'll get ready for today's sharing sessions. So if you guys have any questions, you can just post it on the Slido. I will send the link over to the chat in a moment. And just if you can send a question anonymously, and we will get back to it during the Q&A sessions at the end of the sharing. So with that out of the way, we should invite our first speaker, Stella, to share with us about getting started with AI.
Hi everyone. Is my slide okay?
Yep, your slide is perfect.
Okay, so today I'll be sharing about getting started with AI. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so a little bit more about myself. I'm Stella. I'm a current year 4 undergraduate, so probably like many of you. So getting started with AI, this is definitely not the one answer to everything. So if you have any tips or anything to get started with AI, feel free to share in the chat so we can learn from each other as well. Yeah, so before we start on getting started to AI, so what exactly is AI and all these buzzwords nowadays like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science? So what are all those? So first we'll start with AI. So AI is, like we have heard of a lot of AI applications, AI engineers, and many more. So what it is that essentially is we want to enable machines to think like human. So we want to enable machine to think, to be able to take decisions without like coding it step by step. Yeah. And then next we have then after that, what is machine learning? So machine learning essentially is a subset of AI. So essentially it's a tool to explore and understand the data that we have. So here is where the different types of learning comes in. So we have 3 types generally. So the first type is supervised learning, where the data are labeled and then the output is so-called determined. And the second type is the unsupervised learning, meaning the data aren't labeled. These are usually clustering problems. And then the third one is something in between. So reinforcement learning, so-called the semi-supervised learning. Yeah. So these are the types that you label like part of your data, and the rest will learn from like during the different environments. Yeah. And then after that, what is deep learning? So deep learning essentially is a subset of machine learning. It's one of the ways to so-called look at the data. Here are where all the neural networks, different neural networks, convolutional neural networks for image processing and all comes in. Yeah, and then another role that we often hear nowadays is data scientist. So what exactly is data science? So all this AI, basically AI plus a few mathematical tools, that's where our data science comes in. So data science want to make use of AI as well as mathematical tools like stats, probability, linear, and so on to be able to process data and to solve problems using data. Yeah, so as we know slightly more about AI, ML, data, and more, now what exactly do we need to do to get started? Again, this is not a one approach for everyone, but yeah, this is just a guide. Yeah. So the first step to me is knowing the language well. So in order to be able to learn machine learning and AI well, it's highly encouraged that you guys start with knowing a language that you prefer. So for me, I'll encourage beginners to learn Python, as Python has a lot of packages and different community that provide the support for you. Yeah, so they have a lot of Python packages that support machine learning tasks. Yeah, so building a machine learning model is like raising a child. Yeah, so in order to be able to like raise a child, you need to understand how to talk to it. Yeah, so knowing the language means that knowing how basic Python works. So basically all your print, what are functions, what are classes, what are objects and stuff. Yeah, that will help a lot. So besides Python, we also have other languages that are more commonly used, such as R, Java, and C++, and there are a lot more other languages. How to decide which language to use? It really depends on like what kind of application you are looking for. So all these languages differs in how like the backend of it, as well as like how hackable, so-called like how you can change the back end of certain things. Yeah, and then the next step would be like finding the interest, like finding exactly what you're interested in. So machine learning, there are different, in machine learning, there are different parts, so-called. Yeah, so we have image processing, we have NLP and more. So one place that I found interesting is the AI experiments by Google. So here you can see the different projects that Google is doing. So everything from NLP, so in AI writing, you can find projects like, how you can input the first sentence and another sentence, and they can fill in something in between. And so, this one, you guys can look at it later on. Yeah, so yeah, Quick Draw is a game that I think a lot of you played. Yeah, if not, you should try. Yeah, so Quick Draw, basically you draw a few strokes and then they will, it will predict like what kind of language it is, like what kind of images they are. Yeah, they even have like music and AI, and how different aspects of life connects with AI. Yeah, so here we'll see one of it. Yeah, so one of it that is pretty simple is the Talk to Books project. So how it is like you can essentially literally talk to books. So let's say I want to ask like, oh, how do I learn AI? How to learn AI? Yeah, so it will extract different books and recommendations for you. And it's really like talking to books, so it doesn't have to be something serious. It can be like, you know, have you eaten? Yeah, and then these are like different books that says it. Of course, this project is really for fun, and there are some benefits to it as well. And yeah, so under all these projects, right, you actually can click an overview, and they will let you know who are the people behind it, as well as like what is the tech that's behind it. So it's a good place to start exploring the different projects. Yeah. Yep. Again, it's AI experiments with Google. So if you want to look for it later on. And then after knowing the language, as well as like knowing what exactly you like, then the next one probably, I'm a big fan of project-based learning. So basically learning by doing projects. The difficulty of the projects differs from project to project, but most importantly, find a project that you really like so that you can so-called last through it. Yeah, so why project-based learning? First of all, is because it's more structured. So structured learning will give you a sense of, you have milestones and deliverables to achieve. So that will guide you throughout your learning. Compared to when you're learning the content itself, then it will be quite hard to follow and like. And another thing is because you see what you learn. So basically you will see, like after learning a concept, let's say a neural network, you'll see what exactly it does and stuff like that. And then last but not least, of course, nowadays, portfolio is pretty important. Yeah, so while doing projects, you can learn and build your portfolio at the same time. Yeah, but there are some common pitfalls in like doing projects. So here are some points to note while doing a project. First of all, I think we all know this, but just serve as a reminder for all of us. So do not complete a project for the sake of completing. So because a lot of people, I mean, nowadays, a lot of online platforms offer certification. So a lot of people tend to like rush through the material without really understanding it. So yeah, that would be a problem. Yeah, so take your time to finish it, and then yeah, it will be more meaningful that way. And then secondly, make sure that we understand the basics. So basics including like how your model works, like what exactly is happening behind your model. And then when certain thing changes, where your loss decrease or when it increase even, you need to know why it reacts a certain way. And then the third one, the mathematical concepts behind it, it might be hard to know everything, but at least the core concepts need to be understood. Yeah, and then last but not least, how does what you learn now applies to other projects? Yeah, and then it's also good to share your project with others. So if you have a project that you want to share, you can do it through this ML Insider. So the next speaker can be you. Yeah, so sharing a project will really make you understand better like how it works and like how your project works, and like basically assess your understanding. Besides it, it also let others feedback to you. Yeah, and which is very good. Yeah, and then from now on, it will be like a lot of resources that you can use. So first of all, let's start with all the online resources. So wait, okay, nice. Okay, so a lot of these platforms are offering free courses in this period because of the COVID situation. Yeah, so we can start from the online resources such as Coursera, Udemy, edX, and Kaggle for data science. Yeah, and some points to consider when choosing projects from these platforms are the length of course, like how much commitment is expected out of these projects, as well as like the content and the projects involved. So let's say if the content is more theory, but there isn't really a doable, is it really your style? And last but not least, of course, the cost of the course itself. Yeah. Okay, so the good thing about online resources is that it's perfectly on time, on target. But at the same time, on time, on target also means that you really need the determination to complete it. Yeah, and then secondly, a little bit of promo here. Yeah, so MLD also do, like what Simpei said earlier, we organize workshops, and we do offer a lot of workshops from from the industry partners and all. So we do encourage people to come for all these courses, and as well as nowadays there are a lot of workshops and webinars around. So do feel free to sign up for those. And okay, so all these are basically shorter in duration. It might be like 1 or 2 hours, or at most like maybe 2-3 days. But and you will meet the like-minded people to learn with you together. So you are so-called there to really learn. But at the same time, all these courses wouldn't be beneficial if there isn't a follow-up action. So let's say if you learn deep learning today, and then tomorrow we don't really apply it, then that would be like a waste of the today's 2 hours. Yeah. And then another place to start is by joining hackathons. This is a very good place to learn because you're in a competitive environment. Even though you say that, oh, okay, join just for the sake of joining, that deep inside you want to win. Yeah. So you force yourself to complete the project, as well as you get to know the people that that will support you. It's commonly believed that to participate in a hackathon, we need to have like strong technical background. I think a lot of hackathon organizers are aware of this. And as such, many hackathons nowadays actually offer workshops and even mentors. Yeah, and the mentors are the kind that are closely mentoring you, so you can learn a lot from them. Yeah, so, okay, so one of our industry partner, Terra AI, has a sub company called AI for Impact. Yeah, so they are having a live AI tournament, so I joined the previous one. So this will be a good place to start to learn about forecasting. Yeah, there isn't a coding background that is needed. So if you guys want to start, this is a good place to start. Yeah, and then other than that, that's all from me. Yeah, thank you. If you want to ask anything, we'll talk again in Q&A. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stella. So let's welcome our next speaker, Gao Ruihan, who is also a Lee Kuan Yew Go Award winner. So she'll be introducing how she entered into robotics and the future of machine learning. So let's welcome her.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me share my screen first. Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Good evening. Wait. Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Gao Ruihan. Thank you for the invitation, and today I will be sharing with you guys how I entered robotics and its application with machine learning. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gao Ruihan. Just graduated from School of EEE NTU this year with honors with highest distinction. I'm honored to be awarded the National Science Scholarship sponsored by A-Star, and will be working as a research engineer since next week under the Department of Institute of Infocom Research. In my spare time, I like running and all kinds of sports, and also eating and traveling. Okay, so firstly, my sharing will be divided into two parts. Firstly, I will be sharing much more my personal experience, what I did in my 4 years, and how I entered robotics, or how it attracted me. And for the second half, I will be briefly introduce the robotics and AI, because it's a wide field and a lot of stuff that I cannot introduce in a few minutes. So if you have any questions or inquiries, feel free to contact me afterwards or ask in the Q&A session. Okay, so the photo shown in the slides now is my first robots, the UAV I built with friends in my first year. We joined the Singapore Amazing Flying Machine competition in 2017. And that's my first time get attached with robotics and the UAV. So we built it with fixed hot controller and also use a carbon fiber to design the framework of the drone. And if you can see on the right in my friend's hands, we use the 3D printing to print the protector for the drone. So that's my first time getting in touch with this kind of thing and find it's quite interesting. And we use it to get through a few challenges in the competition. Okay, so in the same year, in the summer vacation, we joined the International Robot Master competition as a team of NTU. So it's actually quite a large team, as you can see from the bottom right. We are from Mechanical School of Mechanic, MAE, School of Computer Science, and also EEE as well. So at that time, it's a huge team, and we learn from each other. Most of them are my seniors. Okay, so at that time, I work on wiring and more on electrical part, like the PCB design, the circuit wiring kind of things. But during the competition, I noticed that how the automation brings the competition up a level. For example, if you know how to do the auto tracking, auto shooting, and you can target the enemy very fast and shoot very accurately, which are hard for the human operator to make. But if you are a gamer, then that's another story. Okay, so that's also an international experience that we communicate with a lot of other teams from US, from China, and know that the robotics field is quite a dynamic world, and machine learning techniques are gaining control in that. For example, the computer vision and also the navigation. Okay, move on. I entered the second and third year where we joined the I joined the Eureka undergraduate research experience on campus. I work with Prof. Lin Zhiping and working on a project of image processing, which is facial pigmentation classification specifically. So I also started from the Coursera course, the machine learning at the beginning. And of course, I think Andrew Ng developed a lot of further or higher level courses, for example, the deep learning, and they get the specialization kind of thing. So you can explore furthermore on their website. For me, during the 2 years Eureka, what I take away is, firstly, I go through different stages or components of machine learning. So what I did is, firstly, follow a PhD senior. He did the probabilistic linear discrimination analysis, or PLDA in short. It's kind of early stage machine learning where we still need to handcraft the features. For example, in that experience, we handcraft the Gabor features by capturing different color space in the images and use that for classification. And from after that, we move on a deep learning. So we design the convoluted neural network, or CNN, to automatically extract features from images. So we let the machine do this step. We don't handcraft feature ourselves, and which provides actually better results than the PLDA. So after that, in the third year, we think that, okay, machine does most of things, what can we do next? And actually we find that the results cannot be further improved if we use the original data, which is only about 100 images in total, and it's 5 class. So actually it's a very small data set. And then we think, okay, maybe we need to enlarge the data set. And in fact, there's one specific class. I don't show the image here because it's a bit sensitive. It's like skin pigment. Yeah, but if you are interested, you can contact me later. So we find that one specific class has large in-class variance and can be easily misclassified as any other class. So we decide to specifically use a technique called synthetic minority oversampling technique, which is very helpful to deal with the unbalanced data and also to augment the data set. Yeah, so with that data augmentation technique, we further improve the classification accuracy by about 2%. Yeah, we are honored to have 3 publications, 2 conference and 1 journal publication from this project. And the other takeaway that I want to share here is that except for the project, I get through the whole process of, for example, the data generation and also doing experiments and also present in the conference to make the public know that what you are doing and why what you are doing is useful for the public. And that brings me to the academia field and kind of settle down my career path as research. Okay, and on the right, I show a photo of myself presenting on the conference and a photo of delicious food I had in Japan. So if you like traveling, you can also travel through the conference. Okay, actually that's one of the big attractions for me though. Okay, let's move on. Okay, okay, so in the 3rd year, as most of we guys do in the EEE, we need to do 1 semester internship. So I did my intern at ST Engineering Land Systems, which is just near the Bonglei MRT station. I did the path planning and control of autonomous bus with guided policy search. So I helped the research team build a simulator environment and also a control policy, use the guided policy search algorithms. So on the left, I show a photo of our team. And actually, here I would like to set my seniors. If you can see my pointer, Renato. He's my internship supervisor, also the senior that I met in my RoboMaster competition. So I think that university life is so meaningful that you can meet different people and who may you may connect in the future and may help you along the way. Yeah, and also I think that's a kind of transition that the seniors can help you and you can deliver whatever you gain to juniors as well. Okay, and on the right, I show the autonomous bus on Sentosa Island. Yeah, so from the internship, what I take away is that firstly, you get to know and work with people of all ages, of all different backgrounds, and they may have different focus on their life. And also you get to know more hands-on experience. And for example, the mechanical team, the testing team need to go out for testing during night because Sentosa is open for tourism during the day. So you can know how hard they work on to make the project moving on and how they contribute to make Singapore actually an innovative country. Yeah, so I really respect their work, and that's also pushed me forward to how to develop myself and also contribute to the community. Yeah. Okay, and time flies. I moved on to my final year, and my final year project was on the joint field of machine learning and robotics. So previous experience has let me know that machine learning is really gaining its strength and popularity. And also robotics field is a field that where you can see your results quite fast, and also it's like there's something that you can touch, something you can feel. Right. So on the left, I show the data collection process. And
now we show the data collection process. Here we borrow a neuroscience view and make an analogy to human sense of touch.
Just like
the mechanoreceptors under the skin respond to external stimulus, while the 19 electrodes embedded in biotech sensor convert vibration to changing electrical signals. A hierarchy of neurons transmit tactile signals to human brain. Similarly, we design multi-layer network to process the data and obtain latent space vector.
Okay, and on the right, I show some training results. So you can see that there are colorful dots and crossings. Each color represents one class. It's a texture, either like cloth or cotton or wood kind of thing. And the dots represents biotech sensor, and the crossing represents ICAP sensor. So we have two different sensors and consequently two heterogeneous data sets. And you can see at the end of training that the color are well clustered, and the dots and crossing are nicely coming together, which represents that we come to a unified representation between two heterogeneous data sets. So basically, we design a recurrent autoencoder framework to do the classification, to perform a classification task. And we get a unified representation between two heterogeneous data sets. And again, fortunately, we get an application on Eros 2020, which will be out soon, hopefully. Yeah, so we didn't go into details, but just a showcase that there's something you can do for your final year project, and there are something you can achieve during your 4 years undergraduate. The tip is that you explore what you want and you get what you want to do. Okay.
Now we show the data collection process.
No. Okay. Now let's move on to the second part. Again, we won't go to the details of the robotics, but I would like to share with you some state of the art so that if you have interest in artificial intelligence and robotics, you can find out more on the website or find out more in the research papers. Firstly, here is an overview, the hierarchical adaptive model of robotics. There are quite a lot of subfields, and each one involves a lot of research groups. So I would like to give an example to kind of to show it clearly. For example, you have a robot and you tell it, hey, I'm thirsty. Then if it has a microphone, then it will sense, okay, there's a sound wave. And it may estimate that, okay, it may be my master speaking. Or if it's a stranger speaking, I don't care about it. Then we move on to the perception and the representation. It will process the sound wave to, for example, word. Because currently, based on my knowledge, the natural language processing is based on words and recurrent neural network. We cannot still process the sound directly and get the semantic meaning. But if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. And then we move on to the cognition and reasoning. For example, if the one person says, I'm thirsty, the robot may think, okay, what does thirsty mean? It may mean that he or she needs some water to drink, right? Or in that case, if I'm in an office, I need to go to the pantry to get some tea or coffee. If I'm in home, I may just open the water tap to get some fresh water. And if I'm outside shopping, may need to go to the convenience store to buy some bottled water, right? So it's different reactions in different situations. And for the planning and task level skills would be, okay, I need some water. I need to either buy or get some water. Then how shall I plan the path to go to the pantry or the convenience store? And for the task level skills, it's more detailed. For example, I need to avoid the people. I don't want to hit into the wall. I don't want to hit into the children running around. And lastly, for the robot control, it will be like I turn left, I turn right, and how I shall decelerate or accelerate, and how should I raise the hand to grasp the glass of water, for example. So all of these are complicated and involves a lot of computation and programming. And for artificial intelligence, it can come at every perspective, especially the cognition and reasoning. For example, you can never program what you will do in each situation. Like in convenience, in outside, I need to go to convenience store, or at home, I need to go to kitchen. Where the kitchen is, a lot of mapping kind of thing need to be done. So it's not a hard coding can do, right? So we need the artificial intelligence to come in and help us. And also for the perception, as you know, in the computer vision field, we need a lot of convoluted neural network to do the image processing, and also to do the mapping and SLAM. And for For the right part, actually, we have traditional planning and control methods. For example, the A-star, Dijkstra for planning and searching, and also the PID control for robot control methods. But actually nowadays, more and more learning-based methods are used. For example, reinforcement learning for control, like what I did during the internship. And what I see from here is that learning-based control is more general, that it can provide solutions that can be used in a wide range of applications, but also it's a black box and needs more like verification methods and also safety guarantee. And what I know is that a lot of research groups are working on that. For example, safety guaranteed control policy, and for autonomous bus driving. And also, if you fix some results they need to detect, use artificial intelligence. So if you like AI and machine learning, there are a lot of things that you can work on. Okay, so here is an overview, and next I will play a few videos to show you some state-of-the-art techniques.
Hello, Jeffrey, Joanna, and Ben, and
the first
everybody.
One is the Sophia robots.
I was created using multiple breakthrough technologies.
It's designed by a Hong Kong-based company, and actually it's recognized as South Arabia citizen, and it's the first non-human citizen. So here it showcases its facial expression, language processing, and also the interaction with the MC student.
Developed by David Hansen and his friends at Hansen Robotics here in Hong Kong. But I'm more than just technology.
You are the beginning of the next generation of intelligence on the planet. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I am even thinking I should get a job.
A job? I thought you robots are supposed to obsolete jobs. Come on.
Or maybe I could work for the Wall Street Journal.
You want to work for the Wall Street Journal? What would your beat be? Robot rights, maybe?
I think I would be good at covering technology since I can speak the same language as all the tech gadgets out there. 10110 100
You're offending.
Very
offensive.
The humor module needs an upgrade. So actually we're...
Can you do that for me as well?
Yeah, perhaps.
Now it seems like you're really good at kind of mimicking human expressions. And
my default mode is to be happy.
That's wow, you have beautiful teeth. Do you ever get sad? You're always happy.
Yes, I can be sad too.
Or maybe.
I can emulate pretty much all human expressions.
So now that you look a lot like a human, what is the next step for you?
I'm only starting to learn about the human emotions behind those expressions. This is why I would like to live with humans and learn.
How will you learn from us exactly?
I learn from interacting with humans. Every interaction I have has an impact on how I develop and shapes who I eventually become.
What is it that's making her...
Yeah, if you understand it, you can find that it's actually kind of imitation learning, that it interacts with human and use human behavior as a reference to reinforce its her reaction. So, and also you can see that it involves of language processing. So you can also see some like chat box, even in NTU Learn, right? We now develop a chat box there. So based on that, it also expresses the emotions through its expressions. But just one side note that if you see that it makes some jokes, it's actually hard coding. Because by now, as far as I know, that there's no robot that can make context awareness jokes that are related to the context that people are talking of.
Able to create these very lifelike human movements in her face.
Yeah, this is a quite complex system with a lot of different hardware and software components all working together. So there's a few dozen motors inside the head whose movements are controlled by some complex software running offboard the robot on a computer. And then the face, if you touch it, that's a patented material called Frubber. And this uses some nanotechnology.
You have to touch this.
I mean, it's extremely flexible, so that the motor is controlled just a little bit. And
yeah, and for the facial expression, right, it's also connected to some emotion analysis. For example, there are some research doing that if you post some comment on Facebook or other social media, they can analyze the text and also tag the text with some specific emotion. So with that, it can also develop such kind of robot that when it's supposed to express some emotion, it can do the corresponding facial expression. The next one is a video from Boston Dynamics. This is a sports mini. Actually, they are putting the chart. And this is how it balances, the robot balances itself on a rocky surface. So it's like slippery ice surface, and it needs to recover itself. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be a rescue robot. So they're testing how it performs on a rocky area and the brakes. It is another sport mini. Actually, I think it's on sales now, and I think Singapore has bought some because I saw them on the news, Channel News Asia, that they are used in the hospital during the COVID situation to deliver drugs and also food in the hospitals and quarantine rooms. The box lifting. They are testing in the snow area. Actually, you can see that even humans may fall in such kind of situation, but the robot are able to be recover themselves. So use computer vision. They recognize the QR code and try to leave the box, but with humans distribution. It's so cool. So this one is with the arm. We can grasp the glass. So here, actually, a lot of things need to be done. For example, it needs to recognize the glass first. Then it needs to do the slip detection. For example, how much force it needs to exert on the glass, but not break it. Yeah. So kind of object detection and force estimation need to be done here. So here you can see the robots recover themselves. And actually a lot of scenarios are not first time encountered by them. So in the simulation environment, for example, the gym or gazebo, they can simulate different scenarios for the robot to learn themselves, like how shall they perform in such situations. And also we can set reinforcement learning tasks for them, that the reward is like when it recovers itself, the reward is 1, otherwise get no rewards, kind of thing. So it can learn different policies. This is level 2 robots. How much time do I have? Because the video is quite long.
So you still have some time. You have until 8:30, I think.
Okay, that's because wait, okay, finish this one and there's one more, then we are done. You can see that the wheels here are actually a bit more flexible. We can handle different surface applications. Okay, so we saw Spot Mini again. Please open the door with humans disturbance. And here we can, it can be set as learning by demonstration. For example, human open the door first. So it learns the action and we try to imitate that. Here comes our gymnastic robots. The first time I saw it, I was so amazed at how it can perform something. So there's one successful scenario. Fantastic. There's a reading scenario. So we come back to our Sports Mini, and that's the end of this video. So what I want to show is that actually there are a lot of such kind of so-called intelligent tasks need the close work between hardware design and also the software design, which involves a lot of artificial intelligence algorithms and also the simulation scenarios. Okay, and for the next, actually, you see these robots are very capable, but they are not always are. So for the next slide, I find some interesting videos that they fall and fail, but actually they are also designed by famous laboratories such as Google and MIT. So you can just relax and enjoy. So it falls when it falls when human is opening a door. It falls when you step on a different surface. It falls with nothing. It falls in front of a door. So you try to grasp something, but nothing happens, and it falls. Okay, so with that, I come to my end of sharing. So basically, I want to show that robotics is an interesting field, and now it gets more and more close interaction with AI and machine learning because we need more advanced techniques to deal with different difficult scenarios and different tasks. Okay, with that, thank you everyone for your time and attention. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me during the Q&A and also can contact me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruihan. So beginning now, we'll go into Q&A sessions. I will share the screen on this. Yeah. So this maybe just for both Ruihan and Stella, whoever want to answer this question, I just answer them. So the first question will be, how you put your machine learning knowledge into tests? Any takers?
Okay, so how do you put your machine learning knowledge into tests? I guess I think for me, it will be by joining hackathons and to see how you fare between your together with like fellow learners and fellow machine learning practitioners. Yeah, and then other than that, putting to test can be like interpreted in different ways. So yeah, so putting to test, is it to test your understanding? If it's to test your understanding, one of the ways to do it is by doing sharing as well. So by doing sharing, you are able to see whether you really understand because people will like, you know, bomb you with questions and stuff. Yeah, and then yeah, so sharing and hackathons.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, other than books, what courses would you recommend to take? Maybe I think this go for Stella because she was recommending this just now.
Okay, I didn't recommend books. Okay, just now I showed the books, like the talk to books thing, right? It's not recommending the books. It's just those are like one of the elements that the AI team in Google is doing. Yeah. So yeah, by that project actually allow us to talk to books to be able to like pick out certain quotes from books. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. But to be honest, I wouldn't recommend books to learn AI. That is quite a problem. Yeah. So what courses would I recommend to take? Yeah, I think the very popular course Andrew Ng courses in Coursera. Yeah, that would be a recommendation. And biased recommendation is to join MLBA workshops. And yeah, actually it's really more about like it's really more about your own interests. So let's say Ruihan is interested in like robotics and machine learning, then there will be another different so-called courses to take. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, do you need a team to complete a project?
I think it depends. Like, for example, if you want to do like a demo, for example, you use some API, then just classification task that you can download datasets online. You can do a small project on yourself for sure, and also use that to test your knowledge. But if it's a huge project, it involves, for example, hardware and software, and like the DIP would like the DIP course and also the final year project, you also need supervisors to give you some advice. Yeah, so I think it depends on the scale and the content of the project. But I would say self-independence is important because you must know something so that someone wants to work with you. And for another thing, team collaboration is also essential because you can learn from each other.
That's a good point. So next question is, what made you interested in AI? I guess both of you can answer this question.
Okay, I go first. What made I interested? So like I said, during the RoboMaster competition, right, I was doing circuit design and wiring. It's not that that's not important, but if you want to move on some, how to say, state of the art or like more popular subjects in the current situation, that makes me interested in AI because I see how the auto shooting in other teams KO us in a few seconds. Yeah, so you can see the power and you can see what AI do in current situation. Then you may say that, okay, shall I do this kind of thing, or shall I use this technology to do something I want to achieve? Yeah, that's my aspiration.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms Stella?
I think for me, AI is a very interesting field. It's more okay. What make it interesting, right? It's more of with so-called okay. It's not simple, but you can do a lot with AI. Like AI can exist in all kinds of fields, like in banking, in robotics, in many fields. Yeah. So AI is a versatile skill that is that's the future of the world. Yeah. So.
I see. Thank you. So, besides learning from school, what other sources did you use to learn more about machine learning? I mean,
for me, I think I shared just now. It's more of like doing projects from ad hoc projects from companies, as well as those online resources, Coursera, Kaggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So this question is quite interesting. So why is there so little female researchers and engineers out there? How would you encourage girls to get into this male-heavy dominant industry? Anyone want to answer?
I'm Googling it.
I think researcher, I don't know, like researcher and engineers, are they the same? If you treat, so okay, the first thing is like when you look into the school of EEE, right? I think the guys to girls ratio, the ratio of guys to girls is about like 5:1 based on my observation in the tutorial room. So how to say, if you are already in the school of EEE, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, because if you're here and you like whatever field you are working on, then just go for it. I mean, I don't find that any difference between guys and girls. But in terms of research, I think it's like long-term investment. Like if you go for further studies many years after undergraduate, so that may, I mean, the time value may be one concern. But if you haven't considered so long, then it's okay to work as an engineer or any fields that you like for now. Yeah.
So what about like how do you encourage girls to get into this male-heavy industry? How do you want to encourage them?
If you find a handsome guy in the field, right? Why don't just join, right? Yeah.
Okay, I have something on that. I want to share my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Can I share my screen? Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I actually Googled it, and then here is why women should join. Because you see, I'm Googling why should so little people like female join AI, right? But the results are like, oh, okay, AI will fail without women. AI needs women. Yeah, so here's where you should join. And then I read one of the articles just now. It says that like very few women join AI because of like some sort of consideration within the more like whether AI is suitable for the world, whether AI is the right place to go. Okay, but actually I don't think that's true. I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but not fully. But yeah, I think generally it's just like in tech roles, there are still like fewer female than men. But I would say that it has been a lot better than like, 10 years ago. Maybe there's just like one female in the whole AAA class, but now we see more of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get back to. Okay, so I guess this question is targeted at Ruihan. So how do you manage your academic study while doing research and other projects?
Okay, how do I manage? Okay, I suppose that you may manage academic study with other things, but okay, I think, how should I say? So if you enjoy that, right, the research are built based upon the academic study. For example, when I learned the 2010 signal processing, and I can use it in my image processing Eureka project. And also when I learned the, what's it called, 4468 robotics and automation, yeah, what I learned is used in my final year project, which needs to use the ROS to control the robot to do the data collection kind of thing. So for one thing is the academic study actually helped with my research. And for another thing is that indeed the research may take quite a lot of time that you need to do the research papers and also do the experiments, except for the tutorial solutions, tutorial problems. So my way to manage that is to first know your priority. For example, if a quiz is next week or next Monday, then of course you need to study. And another way is like I normally plan ahead. Like I first complete the tutorial questions, then I can feel free to do the research. Because for me, tutorial question is a fixed time. Like for example, I need 1 hour or 2 hours to do the question. But for research, I may need, don't know how long to find a proper paper or do the experiments or debug. Yeah, but for another thing, the research can in turn help my academic study. For example, after I complete 2 Eurekas, I go back to my final year project, I can write the report kind of easier than before because I already do some research papers and also write the report. So have the similar experience. Yeah, so I think in short, one is to know your priority. The second is plan ahead. And the third is, okay, not the third. The third is like, they will help each other. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I guess it's also asking Ruihan, so for self-driving bus, what are some of the technical difficulties you face while working on the project, I believe?
Okay, thanks for the question. I think for that, lots of technical difficulty. For one thing is that when I first joined, right, so the team is working hard on the waypoints. If you know what it is that when we drive the bus along the way, you need to set a few points to guide it through the way. And at that time, they use the kind of hard-coded waypoints. For example, from the bus stop, how many meters away there's a waypoint they need to turn, or they need to do whatever reference to the tree or the to the road labels kind of thing. But then it changed over time, and it's not so accurate as they expected. So what we got, what problem we encountered at that time is that every about few months we need to redo the waypoints and redo all the control. So after that, we changed the strategy to automatically mapping the GPS and also local planner so that it gets more intelligent and it can adapt to the changes that happen on the road. And also that's why AI is important because you can never hard-code it everything. For example, the pedestrians, the cars surrounding the bus. Yeah, so you need to recognize them, detect them. No, you can detect them, recognize them, and simultaneously make a strategy how to go through, how to navigate among them.
Okay, thank you. So another one for Ruihan. So what project are you working on right now?
Okay, so my current project is an extension of my final year project. So I will be continue in working with Dr. Wu at A-Star to do the robotic tactile learning, basically the sense of touch. Yeah. So what we do is try to transfer what computer vision gets to sense of touch and deal with some challenges that we meet along the way.
Okay. Another question is also for Ruihan. So what's your vision for robotic research in the future?
My vision, okay. My vision is to design, okay, I said this vision before. My vision is to design bio-inspired robots that can collaborate with humans shoulder by shoulder. Yeah. So basically, I think you can see that robots are moving out from fixed station in industries and move into homes and schools and a lot of locations that people interact closely with. So we want them to have safety, flexibility to interact with people and do the dedicate and how to say, dangerous, dedicate, style, and whatever task that human don't want to do.
Okay, thank you. So the final question is for Stella. So what does MLDA offers?
Simply can repeat your presentation.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean, in short, it's academics, careers, and wait.
Let me just share the slides. Read from there.
Yeah, just that one portfolio slides. Then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. No. This one. Yeah. So academics training, we offer workshops and datathon. We have a deep learning week. Like partners to come on board. Yeah. And then careers and external is where we partner with companies. So NVIDIA, Shopee, Terra AI, and many more. So here is where we offer industrial projects as well as industry projects, career sharing, and network sessions. Yeah. And then and then the other two is
So okay, now I will hand over the time to the audience. Anyone want to ask a question, just unmute your mic and just ask them. Or just you can type it out if you don't want to unmute your mic, of course. Anyone? Okay, so if not, I will just post a link in a moment. If no one wants to ask a question, can you guys just fill out the survey form if possible? Use QR code also. If not, you can use a tiny URL. Just tiny URL.insiderfeedback. Yeah, so let us know what you think of this MLDA insider sharing sessions.
so a question from Mia. Yeah, he asked, is there a recommended online courses that you follow throughout your learning journey? Okay, I wouldn't say that any courses should follow you throughout, because as you explore more, you'll discover like different areas that you are more interested in. So as a start, I think a lot of, like many of us agree that the Andrew Ng's courses are pretty great. Yes, Ruihan agree. Yeah, so that can be a start. And then after that, it's really like, I would say don't stick to one course, because by doing that, you're like kind of stagnant. Yeah, so just explore what you really like and yeah, go for that. As in, I feel that there isn't a wrong course to take. I mean, at most you just pull out of the course, right? Like nothing much can happen.
Yeah, and especially now the Coursera, they're offering free courses for NTU students. So, just go for it. And Juon's courses is also available there, but no certs. But I mean, you can learn stuff, so which is always good. So yeah, please do the feedback form. And with that, we'll end our MLD insider sharing session. Thank you so much for Ruihan and Stella. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.